Hi.
Hello.
I'm Sophie.
And I'm Zach, and welcome to class. For today's lesson, we have exercising for General English B1+.
მოგესალმებით. კეთილი იყოს თქვენი დაბრუნება ჩვენს ტელესკოლაში. მე სოფო ვარ, ეს კი ზაკია. დღევანდელი ჩვენი გაკვეთილის თემა იქნება ვარჯიში. თქვენ უყურებთ ზოგადი ინგლისურს დონე B1+.
For today's lesson, we will start, of course, with the vocabulary and then move right along to the reading comprehension. And right in the middle, we have the grammar. And lastly, we have the summary and then the homework.
დღევანდელი გაკვეთილი დაიწყება ლექსიკის შესწავლით. ამის შემდეგ ჩვენ გვექნება წაკითხულის გააზრება, ამას მოჰყვება გრამატიკული სავარჯიშოები, შემდეგ გვექნება გაკვეთილის შეჯამება და დავასრულებთ საშინაო დავალებით. Shall we start?
Let's do it.
So, Zach, how often do you exercise?
Oh, I like to go running, and I like to go to the gym to work out and help my muscles and just to be as active as possible. How about you?
Well, I used to exercise a lot, actually. I used to dance, so 3 times a week I would go to the gym and work out. But lately I'm too busy with the work, and unfortunately I am not anymore. But I really hope that in future the situation will be fixed.
Totally. So, we have, of course, the vocabulary first, and you can see on the screen that we have our first vocabulary words.
ახლა კი გადავდივართ ლექსიკის ნაწილზე. ეკრანზე მოცემულია ის სიტყვები, რომლებსაც ერთად შევისწავლით დღევანდელ გაკვეთილზე.
So first, our first word is weightlifting, and weightlifting is when you work out with weights like big heavy objects and you push them and you pull them just to make your muscles stronger.
Weightlifting in Georgian means ძალოსნობა. Weightlifting, ძალოსნობა. Weightlifting, ძალოსნობა. Weightlifting, ძალოსნობა.
And next we have gymnastics, which is a noun, and it is when you do acrobatics or when you are moving in certain ways that stress your body.
Gymnastics in Georgian means ტანვარჯიში. Gymnastics, ტანვარჯიში. Gymnastics, ტანვარჯიში. Gymnastics, ტანვარჯიში.
And next we have yoga, which is a noun, and yoga is when you do certain poses or you are moving in a certain way to make your body relax. And
yoga in Georgian means yoga. Yoga, yoga, yoga. Yoga, yoga, yoga.
And next we have shooting, and it is a noun, and shooting is when you have a gun and you are shooting at a target.
Yeah, it is also considered as a sport, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Shooting in Georgian means srola. Shooting, srola. Shooting, srola. Shooting, srola.
And next we have jogging, and jogging is a noun, and jogging is when you run very slowly.
Jogging in Georgian means sirbili. Jogging, sirbili. Jogging, sirbili. Jogging, sirbili.
And next we have cycling, and it is a noun, and cycling is when you are riding a bike on the street for exercise.
Cycling in Georgian means velosporti. Cycling, velosporti. Cycling, velosporti. Cycling, velosporti.
And next we have climbing, which is a noun as well. And climbing is when you are climbing a mountain, or you are bouldering, or rock climbing, or something like that.
Climbing in Georgian means tsotva. Climbing, tsotva. Climbing, tsotva. Climbing, tsotva.
Now let's move on to our vocabulary activity, where we will match the words with their definition.
ახლა კი გადავიდეთ ლექსიკის დავალებაზე. ამ სავარჯიშოში ეკრანზე მოცემულია სიტყვები და მათი განმარტებები. ჩვენ ერთად უნდა ვიპოვოთ მოცემული სიტყვებისთვის მოცემული განმარტებები. Let's start.
Let's do it.
So the very first definition that we've got is to use a bicycle. To use a bicycle. What do you think, Zach? Which word would define this sentence?
Oh, I think that's definitely cycling.
You're absolutely right. Cycling, as we mentioned, is something that is related to the bicycle, and therefore the right word for this definition is cycling.
And then next, Sophie, we have the activity of climbing mountains and rocks for enjoyment and exercise.
So this one is quite easy, I think, because the definition itself includes the word that we need to define. And of course, it is climbing, and the climbing includes climbing on the mountains or on the rocks or bouldering on the walls and so on and so forth. So climbing is the right answer.
Definitely.
And our next definition is an activity that involves doing physical and breathing exercises to make you stronger and make your mind and body relaxed.
Ooh, I think that's yoga.
Yeah, very popular these days.
Definitely. And then we have a sport involving difficult physical exercises designed to increase your strength and ability to bend and balance.
Well, I think that's gymnastics, as we mentioned. And yes, gymnastics is the right answer, right?
Totally.
And the next one we've got is the sport of lifting heavy weights.
Oh, I believe that's weightlifting, which is one of my favorite exercises.
Yes, weightlifting is the right word. And the next one is any sport or activity in which guns are used.
Oh, I think that's shooting.
You're absolutely right. Shooting is the right word. And the last one is, I think, your favorite, one of the favorite activities, the activity of exercise of running at a slow, steady speed.
Oh, that's definitely jogging.
Very true.
And next, we have our next set of vocabulary words.
თქვენს წინაშე არის ლექსიკის მეორე ნაწილი.
And so, the first word is flexibility, which is a noun. And this means like the ability to be able to stretch or bend yourself into different positions.
Flexibility in Georgian means მოქნილობა. Flexibility, მოქნილობა. Flexibility, მოქნილობა. Flexibility, მოქნილობა.
And next we have float, which is a verb. And float is like a boat or you yourself, like on water, you are just riding on top of it.
Float in Georgian means წყლის ზედაპირზე ტივტივი. Float, წყლის ზედაპირზე ტივტივი. Float, წყლის ზედაპირზე ტივტივი. Float, წყლის ზედაპირზე ტივტივი.
And next we have competitive, which is an adjective. And competitive means when you like competitions or tournaments where you are playing against someone else and trying to win.
Competitive in Georgian means კონკურენტუნარიანი. Competitive, კონკურენტუნარიანი. Competitive, კონკურენტუნარიანი. Competitive, კონკურენტუნარიანი.
And hoop, which is a noun. And hoop is something that you have around your waist that you spin it around your body.
Hoop in Georgian means რგოლი ან სალტე. Hoop, რგოლი ან სალტე. Hoop, რგოლი ან სალტე. Hoop, რგოლი ან სალტე.
And next we have spin, which is a noun, and spin is the movement that you go around in a circle or twirl.
Spin in Georgian means ტრიალი ან ბრუნვა. Spin, ტრიალი ან ბრუნვა. Spin, ტრიალი ან ბრუნვა. Spin, ტრიალი ან ბრუნვა.
And next we have workout, which is a noun, and working out is just another word for exercise, for all those things.
Workout in Georgian means ფიზიკური ვარჯიში. Workout, ფიზიკური ვარჯიში. Workout, ფიზიკური ვარჯიში. Workout, ფიზიკური ვარჯიში.
And next we have stamina, which is a noun, and stamina is when how long you can do something, especially like exercising or working out.
So stamina in Georgian means ნებისყოფა ან გამძლეობა. Stamina, ნებისყოფა ან გამძლეობა. Stamina, ნებისყოფა ან გამძლეობა.
Now let's move on to our reading comprehension.
ახლა კი გადავიდეთ წაკითხulis გააზრებაზე. Zach, are there any forms of exercises you tried but you didn't like?
Ooh, I really didn't like cycling. I don't really like riding bikes very much.
Okay.
Yeah. How about you?
Well, I don't like jogging. It tires me so quickly and it's sort of boring for me, I guess.
For sure. Yeah, fair enough. Had enough of the gym, fallen out of love with running, bored with swimming up and down the same pool, day in, day out? Don't worry, there are plenty of new ways to keep fit. Here are 3 types of exercise rising in popularity around the world. Maybe one of these activities can help you rediscover your motivation.
Paddleboard yoga combines traditional yoga practice with surfing. Yogis practice postures on a paddleboard while floating in calm waters. This form of exercise, which originated in Hawaii, has been around for a while. It is currently popular in Southeast Asia, where the tropical beaches and the beautiful blue skies provide the perfect backdrop for a paddleboard yoga selfie. Paddleboard yoga in exotic 30 degrees water sounds great. But we can't see many paddleboard yoga classes taking place on the River Thames in November. However, many yoga studios offer surf yoga classes, where you can practice your skills indoors and prepare for the big selfie moment on your next holiday. This exercise will help you develop strength, flexibility, balance, and patience.
Have you ever seen a trapeze artist perform and thought you'd love to do that? It might surprise you, but aerial exercise such as trapeze training is actually quite popular. Aerial fitness classes often include a range of activities, including aerial hoops, ropes, trapeze, and tisu, which is a long piece of fabric. They are great for building your core strength and confidence. You might think it sounds fun, but is it safe? Rest assured, you aren't just thrown on a trapeze and expected to compete a few spins without a safety net. Don't worry, you can Photoshop the crash mat out of your selfies. This exercise will help you develop strength, balance, coordination, a strong core, and bravery.
Joggling involves jogging and juggling at the same time. Believe it or not, joggling is a competitive sport. The Joggling World Championship began back in 1980. And these days, jogglers can be seen competing in marathon events around the world. You are unlikely to learn how to juggle while running. Well, you can try it if you like. So it's best to practice these two activities separately first. There has been no scientific research into the benefits of juggling, none that we know of anyway. However, juggling is said to increase focus and even reduce stress. Some jugglers say that juggling feels less like a workout than running. Maybe that's because you have lots of breaks when you keep dropping the balls. This exercise will help you develop coordination, stamina, and concentration.
Now let's move on to the reading activity and answer the given questions.
ახლა კი გადავიდეთ კითხვის დავალებაზე და უპასუხოთ კითხვებს ტექსტზე დაყრდნობით.
So what kind of sport is there that you can jog and juggle at the same time?
Well, I think that that's the last text that we've read, and its name is joggling, and that's the sport that started back in 1980. A long history.
Very.
And our next question is, what are some kinds of aerial exercises?
I know there are trapeze, hoops, ropes, and tisu. And Sophie, what kind of sport can you do to practice yoga and paddleboarding at the same time?
There is a paddleboard yoga, which lets you do yoga on a board in calm water. And I think that's amazing, right?
Yeah, I think so too.
And our next question is, which sport helps you with the stamina, coordination, and concentration?
Oh, I know, it's joggling. And this sport helps with all three because you are doing two very different things at once.
And you're absolutely right.
So now let's go to the grammar section where we will discuss reported speech.
ახლა კი გადავიდეთ გრამატიკის ნაწილზე. დღეს ჩვენ განვიხილავთ ირიბ თქმას.
So, when we want to report an order or request, we can use a verb like tell with a to clause. For example, he told me to go away.
როდესაც გვინდა გადმოვცეთ სხვა ადამიანის მიერ გაცემული ბრძანება ან თხოვნა, ჩვენ გამოვიყენებთ ზმნა tells და წინდებულ to's. მაგალითად, he told me to go away.
Commands in reported speech is used in the following way: verb plus indirect object plus to clause. The indirect object is the person spoken to. Other verbs used to report orders and requests in this way are command, order, warn, ask, advise, invite, beg, teach, and forbid. For example, the doctor said to me, stop smoking. The doctor told me to stop smoking.
ბრძანება ირიბ თქმაში გამოიყენება შემდეგნაირად. ზმნას დამატებული ირიბი დამატება, დამატებული თუ და დამატებული დაქვემდებარებული წინადადება. ირიბი ობიექტი არის ის პიროვნება, ვისაც ესაუბრებიან, სხვა ზმნები, რომელიც გამოხატავენ ბრძანებასა და მოთხოვნას არის command, order, warn, ask, advise, invite, beg, teach and forbid. მაგალითად, the doctor said to me, stop smoking. The doctor told me to stop smoking.
So, requests for objects are reported using the pattern asked for plus object. Can I have an apple? She asked. She asked for an apple.
მოთხოვნა გამოიხატება შემდეგნაირად. Asked for დამატებული ობიექტი. მაგალითად, can I have an apple? She asked. She asked for an apple.
Suggestions are most often reported using the verbs suggest, insist, recommend, demand, request, and propose, followed by a that clause. That and should are optional in the clauses, as shown in the first two examples below. Note that suggest, recommend, and propose may also be followed by gerund in order to eliminate the indirect object, the receiver of the suggestion, and thus make the suggestion more polite. For example, the dentist said, I think you should use a different toothbrush. The dentist recommended using a different toothbrush.
შეთავაზება გამოიყენება შემდეგი ზმნების მეშვეობით: suggest, insist, recommend, demand, request and purpose. That და should-ის გამოყენება არის არასავალდებულო. აღსანიშნია, რომ suggest, recommend და purpose შეიძლება მოჰყვეს გერუნდივის, ანუ ზმნის ინგიანი ფორმა, რათა ავირიდოთ ირიბი ობიექტის გამოყენება, რაც შეთავაზებას აქცევს უფრო ზრდილობიანად. მაგალითად, the dentist said, I think you should use a different toothbrush. The dentist recommended using a different toothbrush.
Now let's move on to our grammar exercise and rewrite sentences in reported speech.
ახლა კი გადავიდეთ გრამატიკის სავარჯიშოზე. ამ სავარჯიშოში თქვენს წინაშე მოცემულია წინადადება პირდაპირ თქმაში, ჩვენ ეს წინადადება უნდა გადავიყვანოთ ირიბ თქმაში. Let's start, Zach.
Let's do it. So the first one is have something to eat.
So in this case, we will have he told me to have something to eat. And our next sentence is leave your room. As you see, this is another command.
And it is he asked me to leave my room.
Absolutely right. Stop shouting at me, Linda, asked Mary. Mary asked Linda to stop shouting at her. Also pay attention how we change pronouns. Instead of me, we say at her. So, and our next sentence is, Derek, you mustn't use your brother's phone. Sally warned him. Here as well, we have Sally warned Derek not to use his brother's phone. And we also need to pay attention that this sentence is given in negation. And therefore, we have not to use instead of mustn't. Not to use his brother's phone.
Now let's go over the summary.
ახლა კი მოდით ერთად შევაჯამოთ დღევანდელი ჩვენი გაკვეთილი.
So first we had lots of vocabulary words about different kinds of sports like shooting
Yes,
and
true.
jogging, which is one of my favorites, and
Yeah.
weightlifting, which I love as well.
Cycling that you hate.
Oh, fantastic. And there's also climbing, which is
Very
very
true.
fun, like rock climbing or bouldering.
Yeah, we had gymnastics.
We did.
And we had yoga, relaxing and spiritual sort of a sport, right?
Yeah, have you ever done yoga?
Yeah, well, yes, I have. And it was quite unsuccessful, I must say. I like gymnastics more, I guess. And then we also had a second set of vocabulary where we have discussed some words that were related to the text already. And as I remember, the vocabulary word was stamina.
And stamina is how long you can do something without getting tired, like running or
Yeah.
exercising.
So it's
or
good if you
something
have
else.
a strong stamina, let's say, right?
Exactly. And then we also had like hoop,
Yep.
which is like a circular tube that you can twirl around your body,
Yeah.
and spin, which is when you go like this.
Yeah, we had also flexibility, something that you really need if you're doing yoga, right?
Exactly. You really need that.
Yeah, or you can develop maybe flexibility if you're doing yoga for a long time. Yeah.
Exactly. And then also a lot of people are very competitive when
Very
you are
true.
doing a sport.
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting. We also had a workout that is related to all the sort of sports that we just mentioned: jogging, cycling, weightlifting, and so on and so forth. Yes,
exactly. And then we had float as well.
Yeah.
We're like on a paddle board when you're doing paddle boarding yoga.
Yep.
When you're just on the surface of water.
Yeah, and I think that's it for the vocabulary. And then we moved straight to the reading exercises and the reading comprehension in general. And we read texts about different sorts of workouts. Yes?
Exactly right.
Yeah, do you remember what were the first exercise that we discussed?
And I remember the first exercise that we did was paddleboard yoga.
Yeah, very true. So in general, all of these texts were about not very traditional sports, right? So we discussed sports that were a bit
unusual.
Unusual, yeah, that's the word. Yeah, and the first one was the paddleboard yoga that the people can do on the board, relaxing on the calm water. Yeah,
exactly.
So a trapeze artist that perform aerial exercises. Yeah, a quite interesting one as well.
Exactly, and then the last one was juggling, when you're juggling and jogging at the same time.
Yeah, something that started in 1980, as I remember,
exactly.
right?
And I think is the most unusual of these three.
Well, I agree, but a paddleboard yoga is quite unusual
That's
as well.
weird, but it's very cool anyway.
Yeah, but in terms of the performance, the juggling, as it is called, is also quite impressive.
Oh, I think so too.
Yep, and then after that we moved to the grammar, and we discussed again reported speech. As you remember, our last two lessons were about reported speech.
Because there's just so much information for this one that we have to keep on going with it.
Yeah, definitely. And now I think it's time to move to our favorite part.
Of course, the homework.
Homework, yes. So for your homework, we would like to write a short paragraph about your favorite sport. And I think that there is a lot to say in that, yes?
Oh, I think so too. Everyone has a favorite sport.
Definitely.
And please send your homework to the address on the screen.
საშინაო დავალებად გთხოვთ დაწერეთ მოკლე აბზაცი თქვენი საყვარელი სპორტის შესახებ. გთხოვთ საშინაო დავალება გამოგვიგზავნოთ ეკრანზე მითითებულ მისამართზე. ეკრანზე მითითებულ მისამართზე ასევე დაგხვდებათ დავალების ნიმუში, რომელსაც შეგვიძლია ახლა გავეცნოთ. So would you like to read a template for the homework for us?
Sure, no problem. My favorite sport is basketball. It's a very interesting game. You should concentrate a lot and have good coordination. You have to run, dribble a ball, and throw that ball into a small hoop. Basketball is very popular all over the world. Most countries have national teams, and you can even play it in the Olympics. I like to play it with my friends, and we have lots of fun. I've been playing it since I was a small child, and I don't think I'll ever be tired of it. My favorite team is the Blazers. They're from the US. They always try their best, and I think they always play very well.
Sounds very good. If you asked me to write this homework, I think I would write about dancing, Zumba, and this sort of sport. So maybe our audience can also take that into account.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, so your homework template looked great, but let's advise our audience not to copy-paste and use their own ideas, because we know that you can do much better than us. And now I think it's time to say goodbye to our lovely audience, and I hope to see you next time. Right, Zach?
Of course, let's do it.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.